from a homeowner perspective, it's awful, right? It's getting more and more unaffordable to get a home. I think you'll see home ownership start to go down.
According to that RBC report, in Toronto, for an average income household, it now costs around 85% of your paycheck to pay for an average priced home. In Vancouver, it's your entire paycheck. And in most other major cities, still pretty high, somewhere around 40 to 50%. Averaged out across the country, that's about 64% of the median household income now required to buy a home in Canada.
The reality is, most likely, even if interest rates start to come down, which should make that number more affordable, there's so many people waiting to buy a house that the house prices might go up, and it might not really change that number a lot. So you're seeing it in housing starts. We build way less single-family homes than we did 20 years ago. It used to be, I think, one house per every 4 people of population growth, and now it's 1 for every 40. That's single-family houses. So we are, in my opinion, getting to be more of a renter nation, right? The more people that can't afford to buy a house, they're forced into the rental market. There's a meme that's kind of like a joke where it shows the bank tells me I can't afford a $1,500 mortgage, so I guess I'll pay $2,000 for rent. And that is kind of the reality. These people can pay it, but they're not allowed to because of all the different metrics the bank looks at. So I think we become more and more of a renter nation. There's less and less single-family homes built, and you're seeing rent appreciation. You know, rents are at all-time highs. They're well over $2,000 nationally right now. So it's rents we never thought we'd see for a very long time. I think you'll continue to see that. We have so much demand. So many people aren't able to buy a house, and they're forced into the rental market. For investors, it's great. I mean, as far as the demand side, those numbers do affect you buying a building as well, because it's the interest rates do affect us just the same way that they affect somebody buying a single family home. Or if someone's looking into, to buy a single family home to rent out, you need to get a lot more rent in order to cover your mortgage now. Harder to find renters that are going to meet that criteria. So, even as a landlord, we have metrics. We only want your rent to be a certain ratio to your income. So it's kind of similar to what the bank looks at. As rents go up and incomes don't, those metrics get harder and harder to hit. As far as overall demand in the market, it's an investor market, I would say.
What this all adds up to, not once in the past 4 decades has home ownership in Canada been this out of reach. Just look at this massive spike over the past couple of years. That is, of course, during the Bank of Canada's historic rate hiking campaign, and when the percentage of the median income required to own a home shot up from about 40% to over 60%.
Most people, when they go to buy a house, you're working with a broker, you're trying to figure out, all these little ways you can make your finances look really good so that you can get to that 40% ratio. And a lot of those aren't probably actually how you're living your life. Maybe you've boosted your income up for that year. Maybe you've paid off a credit card and you're planning to rack it back up, or a line of credit. And now that, when you're at 106% or 85% of your income is going to service that debt now, that's a huge impact. I think that's why you're seeing, Edmonton still at 37%. I think that's, a reasonable number. And I think that's why you're seeing so much net migration going to Edmonton from places like Toronto, Vancouver, which are the 2 biggest ones that are kind of bleeding people out towards Edmonton right now. Even Calgary at 48%, it's definitely higher. That's 50% of your income. It doesn't leave a lot. I think you'll start to see that impact come through the economy in places like restaurants, car sales, things like that is where I think you'll really start to feel it in the economy.